Hey Capricorn, what's going on? We are here with your reading, what you need to know for August. Welcome. The first card that we have out is Ten of Swords. I'm seeing the Hermit. I'm seeing Six of Swords. Okay. Ten of Swords in the Hermit is about you thinking something over, like looking something over. This would have been something that had already concluded, like something that happened, and it could have been a little bit rough, whatever that situation was. The Hermit can be you spending time sort of alone with yourself, thinking about things, reflecting on things. It would be something that can feel a little bit, it can be hard to think about this thing, but you can feel at the same time like I need to process this in order to integrate it and not have it be a thing anymore. Ten of Swords indicates that this is something that already happened, so this isn't something that looks like it's going to happen or anything like this. This would be a situation that had already happened. Having Hermit here, it's you being in a position where you're like, I need to sort of sit with this to reflect on it, but it can be something that felt unpleasant, whatever it was. But then I'm seeing Six of Swords. Six of Swords is about moving on from something, but the Hermit card is really important to this. So during the month of August, you can deal sort of with something that had happened, something that could have been difficult as it was happening, because Ten of Swords can be something that ends in a way where it leaves you feelings, the after effects, like the reverberation of something. And then Hermit's going to be the time that I'm spending looking for answers or trying to understand this and processing this and sitting with this and reflecting on it and like talking maybe to people that I'm close with about it to help me finish processing, to like finalize that. And then Six of Swords is like, okay, I understood what I needed to understood. I thought about it. Now I can move on from this. Now I can move forward. So I'm seeing all of that happen. So it looks like you thoroughly think about something, reflect on it, process it, and then you can move forward at that point. This can be a point of change for you as well. Okay. Seeing you definitely come back to yourself. You could have felt like you needed to sort of come back to yourself emotionally. Having the High Priestess come out is feeling like you reconnecting with a part of yourself that is more grounded, more centered, more sort of like spiritually connected. You could have felt like you were having a hard time connecting with that part of yourself while you were going through this. Could have felt like it got you more in your head and like less away from your heart space. Then over here I'm seeing you reconnect. And keep in mind too, like as this is a reading for August, like that can be a part of things, like processing stuff, like that can be going on for a span of time, then coming back to that moment where you're like, okay, I'm reconnecting with myself now. That can be like days or weeks later, you know, however long it takes you. So this is something that, again, like the whole process can span through the whole month of August. Okay. I get the feeling of you being onto something here, but you may have not been listening to yourself initially. Yeah, some type of issue between your moon and your Mercury I'm seeing. This can be about transiting moon. This can be about transiting Mercury. This can also be about a transit that you're personally experiencing within your chart. Some issue between Moon and Mercury specifically I'm seeing, and about your feelings. Having Seven of Swords and having the High Priestess and having the Magician can be like something not being totally clarified or not having all of the details, or it can be not being like totally and completely honest with yourself about something. It can be sweeping certain things under the rug because of like not wanting those things to be true or wanting to like write them off, like that type of stuff. and then on like false pretenses, like sort of doing things. So this is about needing to make sure that you're grounded, needing to make sure that you're being realistic, needing to make sure that if there are any like red flags that you're seeing, or just anything that you need to make sure that it always comes back. Seven of Swords always comes back to, if you are in like absolute honest self-reflection, Seven of Swords is not going to have power over you. It's not going to be able to distort things. You're going to be in a place of truth with yourself. However, Seven of Swords is able to get footing when we're experiencing things going on and we don't want those things to be true, where it's like, I'd rather believe in like sort of what I want to be happening rather than what's actually happening, and then like the distortion is sort of created within that, you know. There can be a feeling of mistrust or just something going on that feels off, I'm seeing going on, and then it can impact things emotionally, and it can get in the way of you properly interpreting things, like things that are messing with your intuition and also messing with your ability to perceive when things are honest and when they're not, even coming from other people, and needing to discern that and your feelings about it. So it can sort of be like, I want to believe that this person is being completely honest with me, and so even though I'm getting a weird feeling about this, I'm just gonna like discredit myself right here and believe what they're saying, and then later on you find out like that was actually them, they weren't being totally honest with you in that scenario, you know. Or like you have a feeling about something, it's about like needing to really stick with this. And also too, the thing is, like, sometimes you have somebody speaking to you and even like not on purpose, they're telling you things that may not be like totally true because they may be disconnected from that part of themselves. So it doesn't even have to be like some type of egregious thing here where somebody's deliberately trying to mess with you. It can be somebody being disconnected from that part of from themselves. You're picking up on that and needing to give yourself credit there in that moment, because you're like, no, I'm noticing something here, you know. Even if that's just like, I'm keeping mind of that, keeping track of that, and sort of telling myself just something weird is going on here, you know, like that type of thing. Needing to be important, give that importance. I'm seeing somebody with their hair tied up here. You see how this Seven of Swords, that's drawing my attention. You see how this person's hair is? Something about that. So yeah, if you're picking up on something, pay attention to it in the month of August. This can even be something that disturbs your peace emotionally. And also, this can also be your own thing, you know? Like, you can be High Priestess, I'm getting you being in this really, like, serene place. But Seven of Swords can be stuff that's gonna come through and, like, mentally be messing with you. And then be messing with what you're picking up on, like, intuitively or emotionally. Let's see further what's going on with this. Okay. So this Ten of Swords, this thing that has happened that can feel like, I really feel like that has sort of made a mark on me right now, just in that moment when things are happening. Even though this situation has technically concluded, you're still sort of mentally observing that. Like, that has had an effect on me. And it feels like it's also emotionally, there are emotions that are tied up in it too, because I'm seeing Queen of Cups. So this can be something that you're going through where you're like, not only mentally did that impact me, but I also feel the impact on that, the impact of that on me emotionally as well. And I need some time to myself in order to process things now, and in order to take care of myself and give myself what I need. So I'm seeing that be a theme that comes up. So something goes on and it impacts you mentally and emotionally, and then it looks like you sort of turn into, or like go into your own space, and you do some self-care stuff. And then in that time of like I'm grounding and I'm doing what I need, it can be like I'm taking care of my body, or I'm de-stressing, or I'm going to spend time on an activity that I enjoy, just stuff that's going to feel grounding to you, just like in your own space, in your own business. I'm seeing then like by way of that, you end up sort of coming to terms with things, and it allows you to feel alleviated mentally, and like you can move forward then, like you're not still stuck in that place anymore. So I'm seeing that go on. Yes. Some type of like grace emotionally that falls upon you. Okay. After you start moving forward from this, where you're sort of released from this thing where it's like more integrated now I can move forward. In that moving forward, I'm seeing you sort of stepping into the unknown a bit here. So you can know that you're moving forward, but you may not know exactly where you're going with the moon. But you feel all right moving forward is what I'm seeing. It's kind of like it's going to be whatever it's going to be. I'm seeing there be like more of a, I'm feeling more comfortable with stepping forward now. And it feels too like there's a self-trust as well within that. Definitely like strong moon energy I'm seeing in the middle of the month, where you can feel like there's a lot of energy going to the moon. Again, this can be a transit that's happening like outside wise, or this can be something within your horoscope that you're experiencing. A personal challenge. So you can be going through something that feels challenging on a personal level, or within your personal life in some way, whether it be like your person, it can be home situation, it can be personal relationships, like those types of things. Something that feels like it becomes a process that you sort of have to participate in, but it can be something that feels a bit draining. You can also feel too like your intuition gets challenged as well. Like there's something that you really have to just lean on your instinct to move through, but at the same time it can feel really challenging to do so. It's like a really complicated puzzle that what you have to rely on sense-wise is sort of your intuition or your instinct. I'm seeing you definitely be capable here. Ooh, how about that? I'm seeing you definitely be capable here, but it can feel difficult at the same time. Like I'm seeing something that you're able to do, at the same time it can feel challenging. Seeing Seven of Swords and seeing Five of Swords is feeling like when you're going through something challenging, what may actually be really difficult for you is not to shut down when you're going through it, and to keep your heart open, because if your heart is open, it means that you're going to also intuitively be connected, which is what you need. It's like out of all your senses that you need to move through something, you need to lean on your intuition. But then I'm seeing what happens is that because of something feeling exhausting and potentially triggering for you, or just tiring or draining for you, there can be a part of you that wants to check out from that because of just how heavy it can feel. But then you're like cutting yourself off from the most effective sense that you need to move through something. And so it's one of those situations where you may have to like work with your ego a bit, or work with your shadow a bit, or work with certain survival instincts in order to keep yourself open in a higher space to move through this. And I also get the feeling that you can have somebody that you trust around you that you could feel like is not supporting you in a way that you need support, whether they're doing this on purpose or not, because it can be somebody that's not aware that they're not being helpful to you. Because I'm getting, Nine of Wands feels like I'm going through something that feels difficult for me right now, and I'm trying to ground myself through that process, and it can feel difficult to do that because it's exhausting me. And then I'm seeing Five of Swords over here, which can feel like somebody antagonizing you a little bit. This can also be you feeling like you're doing things that antagonize yourself as well. Who is this person? Let's get a read. Who is this Five of Swords? It just feels like somebody like a competitive energy, you know? Like you're at the foul line and you have to make the shot and you're really hoping that it goes in, and you have somebody like booing you or distracting you. It's like that type of thing. And you're like, this is hard enough. Like, I don't need the pressure from you, but I'm definitely seeing some type of energy around you. What is this Five of Swords? But this can also be pressure that you put on yourself, you know, like rather than allowing yourself to go through the process and just do your best, it can be a part of you that's like just putting unrealistic pressure on yourself. And not allowing things to be enough is what this is feeling like. I get even like there can be an insecurity about what you've accomplished, like that, almost like it's not good enough. For those of you that another person is not involved, this can be like your own like self-deprecating stuff. But for those of you that there's another person involved, you can feel like somebody is sort of like discrediting stuff that you've done, or like the happiness that you've worked on within your life, or like the things that you're doing where you're like, I feel good about those things. You can have somebody around that's like saying things about it that could be making it feel like it's not good enough. But this energy, for those of you that this is somebody outside of yourself, it's somebody that I don't know like why their energy is so focused on you, but it can be somebody that for some reason is just like triggered by you and the things that you're doing and the way that you're living your life. Again, like I don't know why I'm seeing, if this is a person outside of yourself, I'm seeing them be in very much a shadow space. It's like they're not really in a totally honest space with themselves, and so for some reason, like I'm gonna describe this like it's two people, but just know that this can all be happening within you at the same time. I'm seeing a competitive energy, and so you're in the energy of the Nine of Wands, so you're going through something and you're like, this is difficult, this is challenging, this is tiring, and then I'm seeing somebody around you that feels like triggered by you for some reason, and it's like actually showing up in a way where it may look like they're enjoying watching you struggling a bit, but it's just them like acting through their shadow. So it can feel like, hey, like, why are you doing that to me? I'm just trying to live my life here, like do my thing. This is something that I'm struggling through. And you can feel like somebody's antagonizing you a little bit, but just know that this is somebody that is in a shadow space with themselves, and it really has nothing to do with you. But for some of you, you're going to be impacted by this person's energy, and they can try to like undermine stuff that you have going on that feels important to you or that makes you happy, but it's just coming from a place of like them not being good with themselves and just projecting it onto you. Just keep in mind that this is not a personal attack on you, even though it can feel like that. Just know that if you're getting that type of like antagonistic energy from somebody else, that's just reflective of the space that they're in with themselves. So even though it can be difficult not to take that on and internalize it, this is your guides talking to you and being like, do not internalize it, because it's not about you and what you have going on. Like, because I'm seeing a lot of good stuff that you have going on and stuff that you're working on that's important and very much in alignment for you. So even though you have this energy that I'm seeing be around you, don't allow that to detract from what you're doing and like the hope that you have for what you're creating within your life and like the vision that you have for your life and your manifestations, like those sorts of things. just because that person is like not in a place of light with themselves in that moment. Okay? I get this, for those of you that this is someone outside of yourself, I'm seeing that this person is very fixated on your energy for some reason. I don't know why they're so fixated on you, but on you specifically, but the mechanism of what this is somebody that's refusing so much to look at themselves that they're like looking at you and not realizing that it's like them begging themselves to sort of develop that relationship with them, but being so like against that they're so very focused on you and what you have going on because they're just in that space with themselves. And for many of you, this person doesn't even realize that. They like aren't consciously aware that that's what they have going on and that's what they're doing. So take it with a grain of salt. So you go from 10 of Swords to 10 of Pentacles, which is a really amazing thing to see, actually. So we start off with the 10 of Swords, which is going through something. It can feel kind of intense emotionally and just personally for you, but then we end with the Magician and Judgment, which means that there's going to be like an increased mental power for you, where you feel like there's a lot of, like, I'm really controlling like the thoughts that I'm having and sort of what I'm creating and what I'm like manifesting, like that type of thing, what's coming to fruition, what I'm focusing on, my intention and my ability to materialize that intention, like those sorts of things. And then also too, having Page of Cups and having 10 of Pentacles, it can feel like something then stabilizes at that point for you, and that things are back on track, like with your intuition and what you have going on, and you can feel like it allows you to develop a sense of security that you could have felt like you were really missing in the beginning. So yeah, 10 of Pentacles is what's going to be achieved. So I'm seeing you have some big stuff that's going on where you're like, this is what I'm trying to do, and then actually being able to realize those things and accomplish those things, and it being a really big deal regardless of other people's energy around you. And you can also, for those of you that this 5 of Swords is somebody around you, you can use sort of the focus and attention that they're giving you, and you can use that to motivate what you're doing. Like I'm struggling right now and I'm having a hard time. Now this person is coming through and antagonizing me in some way, or like coming at, like stepping towards me in a way that I'm not appreciating. You can use that to motivate you to like, I'm not going to let them win. You know, it can be like that type of thing that you do. You can use it in a way where this type of energy can actually benefit you if you transmute it and be like, now I feel even more like motivated to realize what I'm realizing here, or to make manifest something that I have an intention to accomplish. It can be like that type of thing. So again, like you can use this to benefit you rather than allowing this energy to sabotage what you have going on. Going through an ending, something happening within your personal life, going to be moving forward with things. Moving forward can feel like a challenge, and things can also be feeling exhausting. And I'm also seeing too something going on with the shadow where it feels like needing to work with that, but then you being the one that ends up taking the wheel rather than something unconscious and moving through it, which I do feel, again, this like I'm feeling reconnected again with myself in a way that I'd been sliding a little bit potentially off track. There is this coming back and like hearing things loud and clear intuitively. I'm seeing from an emotional standpoint, like within your Queen of Cups energy, you're going to be spending a little bit of time on your own to sort of reflect and to be within things and allow stuff to sort of permeate. I'm seeing you also go into more of the depths of yourself emotionally and intuitively, and it feels too like there's a change that ends up happening mentally, which feels like it allows you to then do something or see something through that you've been meaning to do. So I'm also seeing that happen as well. I get the feeling that August is going to be a busy month, but you'll feel like where you start is very different than where you end up. And you start in a place where it's like, this is a lot of heavy stuff that I'm working through, and it feels kind of heavy consistently throughout this. But when you get to the end of it, I'm seeing like having the 10 of Pentacles is going to be something where it's like, it was well worth it having to go through this, and that feeling really satisfying. Okay, with that being said, we are going to leave the reading here. I'm seeing Virgo, I'm seeing the moon, I'm seeing Pisces, I'm seeing Pluto, and I'm also seeing Mercury. I want to thank everyone for connecting. Thank you for tuning in. I'm sending everybody love, and I hope to catch you guys next time.